about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me.
Welcome to Switch It Up. We are in Florida experiencing our first big, challenging boondocking in our new RV.
Yes, we have done dry camping, that's another word for boondocking,
Yeah.
multiple times, but not in this trailer. So
No.
this will be the first time.
Yeah, it's an experience because it's an extended amount of time, so we have to learn a lot on how everything is working, from our batteries to our water to water usage to storage to all of those things. And we were thinking, wouldn't it be good to share that with you?
Yeah, you just have to learn what the capacity or how you can use your trailer or your RV in a dry camping environment, and that's what we're doing, trying to figure it out.
So we're gonna roll the intro. Are you gonna give some helpful tips along the way?
No, we're also getting ready to go on an excursion, an adventure for the day, so I'm gonna make lunch and you guys can hang out.
Oh, we're gonna hang out. It's like a tech time.
You guys.
Tech time with Todd scenario, in a way.
Just bear with it.
I'm hoping that we're gonna get to learn.
You're gonna learn lots. You're gonna learn lots.
All right.
A man and a woman left their home to switch things up and go on the road. They didn't know where they would go, but it's gotta be better than staying home. They switched it up. They switched it up.
All right. First things first. We built this wonderful big RV to do things together. Switch It Up is not trying to go out and get people to purchase spacecraft RVs. The idea here is that you purchase whatever you want to go travel and see this amazing United States. And that even means tent campers, truck campers, travel trailers, Class A's. It doesn't matter to us. The goal here now is to take this amazing RV and have like 300 or 400 of us sitting out here. And now we have something with an LED wall, and we can have a musician come in and we can do potlucks and hang out in the desert or do whatever. That's what this is all about. That being said, boondocking becomes an essential thing. And when we have been doing a lot of different events, a lot of people tell us, well, we're not sure if we can boondock, or we're not sure how to boondock. And this becomes an issue because if you're going to go out and use an RV or tent camping is that's a boondocking experience all in itself. You have to learn what your capacities are. So today, I kind of want to go over like capacities of what this includes and compare that to the Grand Design momentum that we had, items that we have learned along the way, improvements that we have made from our Grand Design to building something custom that you can probably incorporate into your current RV, because it was all the upgrades I wanted to do to our Grand Design, but then we're like always questioning. And so we did the upgrades on this. So we're gonna tell you if they're good, bad, or indifferent. So today I wanna talk about water. Like, how are we filtering it? What we decided to do, and why we didn't do it in the last one while we use the Berkey all the time. I want to talk about storage capacity from your gray water to your black water. And there is a problem that is going on with this, that some of you may want to do an upgrade on your current RV, and I'm questioning if that upgrade is something that you should do. And I have a little story with that, and we'll probably share that towards the end, because now it becomes a problem with boondocking itself. Then I want to talk about maybe some internet. Like, if you're going to boondock and you're going to go places across the United States, How are you going to use internet? What's the cost? I also want, I mean, there's so many different aspects. Let's talk about power. If you're going to boondock and you have a Class C or a B or whatever, how are you going to get your power? Are you going to be running a generator all the time? So I'm going to go over things that we've learned now of having a smaller solar system to now a bigger solar system. What's the happy medium? What's the expectations? Told you there's going to be a lot. There's going to be links, and we're going to try to just walk through. But first things first, I have to go over here and empty out some of the storage bays, because when I empty out the storage bays, it'll allow us to go into the belly, and I can show you specifically on some of the things that we're going to go over. So I'm going to go run and do that. It's a nice setup though, right? Harvest hosting. Harvest hosting is a fabulous way to go out and see different places on a budget. So if you haven't, signed up for Harvest Host, I think it's like $84 or $100 a year, whatever. Well worth it. You stay 2 or 3 nights, you've done paid for your membership for the year. It's great if you're traveling along a route and you're just needing a one-night stay and you don't want to be in a parking lot somewhere. Harvest hosting's great. Some Harvest hosts, like this is Steve's. Steve allowed us to stay a little longer so we could test our RV. He actually is a fellow person that has an HDT, and he's getting ready to go to Alaska, so he's getting ready to set up. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to discuss the problem that he's seeing as well, because he didn't upgrade in his RV. So again, there's a lot. I'm gonna jump over here, I'm gonna unload some stuff, and then we'll just jump right into it. There's some no-see-ums here in Florida. Since I can't see them, I want to be prepared. All right, here's where we're at. Ow, hit my head. We are in the belly, and I wanted to start with water first. Now, water is like the lifeblood of every RVer. We all run to Walmart or wherever to get our blue canister to filter our water, and we've done that through the course of 3.5 years. And we came up with different things. We were seeing people in RV parks that had 3 canisters they were setting out. We saw people with, soft water systems they were setting out. We had talked to a few people that are actually using reverse osmosis systems. And so when we were building this, we were thinking, well, how could this work for us? Like, how could it be different? And if we were going to incorporate everything, how would we do it? And then if we had our Grand Design momentum still, what would we incorporate it in that to make our life a little bit better, a little easier as we traveled? So this is what we did. We decided that as we were working with water, we have 150 gallons of fresh water. It's not unlike a lot of the different RVs that are out there. Some of them, generally toy haulers, have about 100. You might have 75. So when the water comes into the tank, do you want to pre-filter it, or do you want to filter it after it comes out of the tank? And that's important, because they made a great point when we were building this. And he said, if you pre-filter and you decide to have soft water, that means all the water coming in is going through your soft water system, and you're going to be using that capacity a lot. Wouldn't it be better to put all the water in and then filter it as it comes out? And that's the way we elected to do it. So we've set up multiple, basically 3 systems that we're going to talk about. System number 1, soft water. So we went to Mobile Must-Haves. They're not a sponsor by any means whatsoever. They do have, I don't even know what this is called. I don't know if it's the Blue Tech. I'll try to find it and I'll put a picture on here. So this is the soft water system. It's a smaller canister. I liked it because it is, stainless or aluminum, whatever they decide to make this out of. And it has quick connects on it, so I'll be able to take it, pull it out, and then when you do soft water, you have to recycle it, regen. I've got it so it's easy to pull out and do. Next system is also from Mobile Must-Haves. This is no different than what you see where you have the blue canisters from, I think, 𝐁𝐞𝐞. This, again, is just stainless, and I just liked it because of the compact nature. And a lot of times when you're trying to do something, space is king. So we elected to go with the 3 canister system so it fits in this rail, And if you have a Grand Design Momentum, you can actually tuck this up inside. So that's the reason we decided that we would do that. So we're soft watering, then it goes through our filtration system here. And then once it goes through the 3-stage, it comes back out and it starts to go to our whole house, meaning to brush our teeth and all that fun stuff, take showers. But then we decided to do something even more unique. See, our Grand Design Momentum, we never used the ice maker in it because, well, quite frankly, we were always worried about it freezing. If we were in a cold environment, we could never get the water out of the line, so we never turned the Samsung refrigerator that was in our 395 MS, we never turned that ice maker on because there's no way to like insulate that line as it came in. So we didn't want to do that this time. We bought a nice refrigerator. We wanted to have ice that was in the refrigerator. So we reached out to 𝐁𝐞𝐿. 𝐁𝐿 said, we have something unique. We have something different. And so 𝐁𝐿 actually has this amazing system right here. And this is an upgrade that you could do in your RV, of course. And that's important. And that is a 4-canister system. Now, this is a reverse osmosis system, different than what you're used to seeing. It does not have an extra little tank off to the side. And you can change these different canisters to other things. So we're looking at alkalized water. We'll probably change one of these out to an alkalized water versus using the post-carbon filter. So you have the active carbon, and then you have the reverse osmosis membrane, and then you have the sediment things. So this has already been all filtered because it comes out from over here, comes back into the reverse osmosis system, goes through all of this, and then from here it simply only goes to the refrigerator. We did not want it to go anywhere else because reverse osmosis, you can only use so much water, things like that. So it only goes to refrigerator so we can get clean water. And we think this is the best system for us. I noticed that everyone is doing different things that are out there. As you travel more, you will discover, it would be nice to have at least soft water because then you don't get the water spots all over everything. It makes things easier to clean. So in this system, the way we've set it up, 𝐁𝐿 is our go-to for our drinking and clean water, and no longer do we use the Berkey. We actually gave the Berkey away with our RV when we sold it. Super excited about this. We've been now using it for a little over 3 weeks, and it has been amazing. And I think they're around $300 to $500. So as far as an upgrade goes, super simple. You can run it through. It does, every time you use it, it does have an overflow. And so you'll find that the discharge, you're going to find that that discharge is generally about maybe half about this much. Like after you use it, there's a discharge from whatever this thing is doing. So you have to run the discharge hose out the bottom. Recap, 150 gallons of fresh water. We run it through soft water. From soft water, these are for mobile must-haves. We run it through the 3-stage system. Comes through here, and then we come back to 𝐁𝐿. I will have links to all of this stuff in the description. Now, let's jump over, and while we're out here, okay, everyone's going to ask, well, what's our water setup look like for turning on? Do we have like the whole system set up where you're turning knobs like you would on our Grand Design? No, this is just simple. I have one knob I turn on to fill, and then a knob down here that I drain the tank, and then we just turn on the water pump. It's not even like difficult. I wish I could say it was more complicated and they put some fancy system in here, but honestly, fancy is not always the best thing. I am enjoying having these electrical switches for all the valves for the gray tanks and the sewage. I am enjoying that component. I really am. The other thing is when you're talking about water, is that on our capacities here, we have a 150 gallon freshwater tank. We also have 90 gallons of a tank for gray water that is just for the dishwasher and for the half bathroom sink. And then we have another 90 gallon capacity for the washing machine and taking showers and brushing our teeth. So combined, that's 180 gallons. And then the black water in itself, we have right around 65 gallons. We thought, well, you know what? we're going to save that because that is where the hitch and the giddy up comes. And it's an upgrade that we don't think you should possibly do. So we'll talk about Blackwater here in a second. But if you're doing calculations in your head, wait a minute, he said 150 gallons of fresh, 90 and 90's 180 of gray and 65 on black, you don't have enough fresh water. Yes, that is correct. Our focus was simply if we had this situation and we were looking at boondocking, it would be easier to get a water bladder and bring in water, fresh water, to put into our freshwater tank than it would be anything else. Then when we built the truck we put a 65-gallon black gray water so we can actually pump from here into the truck. Then we can take the truck and go dump. Versus if you're probably carrying and you're doing a travel trailer or something like that, you may be simply, getting one of the toters and tying it to the back and taking it over to dump. If you're in a campground and they only offer electric and water, but they don't give you a dump station, so you have to transfer things back and forth, you may be taking one of those toting mechanisms. I just didn't want to do that. It's too heavy. And I'm thinking that if we're in the desert and we have to go in further, it would just be easier to have the truck and pump into the truck and then go dump the truck. That's how we thought through how we're going to survive longer in that. And then I can fill up a bladder, put the water into the tank, and then once it's in the tank, then it can be filtered through all the filtration things. It's a little backstory on how we kind of thought through how we're going to use our water consumption. And we'll come back to the black tank here in a second because we were very surprised about that. All right, let's jump over and talk about the generator and the solar. Some of you may be hearing a loud noise right here. Before we get over here, this down here is our aqua-hot system. So since we've been talking about water, we do have an aqua-hot system, and it runs off of diesel. It ties into the generator here in a second. So it's been a learning experience as well because the aqua-hot system runs a lot. And since you don't have like your normal tank, it is always turning on and off. So you got to get used to that sound. Generator, why this ties into the aqua-hot. So the generator we're running, I believe it's a 12 kW. The generator itself is a 12 kilowatt. I believe most RVs are probably in that 8 to 10 kilowatt range. So 12 kilowatts. So it's like a true 50 amp would be the best way to put it. It does have a 50-gallon diesel tank on the back side of this, and it's tucked away into the middle. We have actually a gas gauge. Now you're asking yourself, well, Todd, don't you have like a ton of solar on here? The answer is yes. Remember when I said earlier that we are actually looking at, all of us sitting out in the middle of a field and having, musicians or the LED wall running and all of that? We did not put a solar system on here to accomplish absolutely everything. We put a solar system on here that we could live to the lifestyle that we want. And that comes back to when we had our Grand Design Momentum. If you remember, we only did 400 amp hours. Now, looking back, I'm thinking that 600 amp hours would probably be the best system for a mediocre system. You can't run a ton of your stuff on 600 amp hours, but it does cover your refrigerator because we had a regular refrigerator. We didn't have to run the generator at night. If you did it correctly, you could probably put soft starts and run one of your ACs during the day, and as your batteries are being charged with your solar, and so you don't have to run your generator as much. 600 amp hours is a really happy medium, I think, for most RVers. And I believe we even did a video on this. It should be the very first thing that you upgrade in getting an RV. And we honestly don't care what size RV. We think you should just change straight to a lithium battery because it's just so much better peace of mind. Now, our setup is a little bit different. We are running, we'll go up here to this bay, but we're running 300 amp hour batteries from Enduro Battery, and we have 8 of them. So if you're calculating in your head, that's 2400 amp hours. But the way the system's set up, it's 48 volts. So we're running about 30 kilowatts. So this generator, because we've already done it, we've been boondocking, so we've been running all the ACs. Like we have 3 ACs, and we've been running just everything, just to see how we could tax the system out. And at about 4 o'clock where we're at, the sun goes behind the trees, and we're not getting the peak, I'd say, solar performance from our solar panels. We have 3,000 watts of solar, and you can only get 70% usage. So we're getting about 2,100 watts of solar because the solar panels lay flat on the top. So to keep up with the usage, generally the batteries would wear down. So then we were like, okay, let's just tax it to the max. So running absolutely everything, we got the batteries down to like 30%. And we were like, okay, now let's just see how the generator does. Within about an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours, we got the batteries completely charged up, turned the generator off, and we haven't run the generator now for 2 or 3 days. It's pretty cool. You can hear this over here. The fan is running. That fan is the mini split system, which I think RVers should go to, but unfortunately there's just not a lot of space in a lot of different RVs. But man, mini splits are the way to go. They're way more efficient. All right, let's go up here and see the batteries. Ooh, Varla scooter. And then over here, all of my junk. All right, you can kind of hear the buzzer of the inverters working. I think we're running at about 53% on our battery capacity right now. And let's just back up just for a second, because there's so many things that are working right here. Again, we have 2,400 amp hours of batteries. And when it's on the 48 volt system, it's carrying a little less heat. The way it's wired, they're all interlinked together. We have 4 batteries running around that back wall, and then up in between, they have put the other 4 batteries up into the rafters of the RV itself, the travel trailer. Now the cool part is, all of this is centrally located towards the back. So I have a cord reel here that I can just simply plug into, and then they hardwired that straight into the 50 amp. Now, we're talking about boondocking, right? And this is our current setup. Now, let's say that you're going to come to one of our events, right? And you're like, you're kind of hesitant of, what's this going to be like? How are we going to boondock? What batteries should I get? The reason we chose Enduro batteries was the case width. If you do some research and you call, I can't see. And if you call Enduro and talk to Harrison or the team, you're going to find out right away that the 300 amp hour batteries are just, the cases are just smaller and skinnier, and they're easier to fit into different areas. So just depending on how things are set up and what you're wanting to accomplish and where you're going to want to be, it comes down to space is king in the RV place. And we just love Enduro because of, you can run them down, run them up. Our first probably 4 months of being out, well, I can't even say that, it was probably first 60 days, we destroyed our batteries. They came with regular lead acid batteries, and we ran them down, ran them up, and then they were destroyed, and we had to get different batteries. And so it was a learning process for us. Again, boondocking is a compromise of how long you're going to be. And if you're going to be out for a significant amount of time, you have to have a generator. You just got to have the backup, unless you're going to invest the thousands of dollars to run off the sun. It's just, you got to have just the balance between the two. And that balance could be 1 battery, maybe 2 batteries, maybe 3 to 4 solar panels on top to watch TV at night, maybe run the heater. Maybe if you have a propane, a regular RV fridge, and you can shift to propane to electric, you could run the propane. Like you could balance it. But really, a staple to anything for boondocking would be figuring out what's our battery capacity, what do we need, and how do we need to set it up. Our capacity is just different because this thing is a power hog, and allowing us to not have to run the generator all the time. And if we're in full sun, all day long. Our batteries would completely charge up every single day, run down with the ACs running to about 55-60% by morning, and then charge back up. So it's just a really good balance for us at the moment. But it really comes down to what you're wanting to do. If you're a tent camper, I would even invest in one of those boxes. Like, I don't know, there's so many different ones. It's just a box. It's got a lithium power in it. You can use that to run all of your stuff on, charge your phones. But even that's lithium, right? So every camping component, whether it's from a big Class A down to a tent camper, just lithium batteries is where we're at right now. It just comes down to what your needs are. Now, along with lithium, which nobody really talks about, is temperature constraints. And the reason I bring it up, with so many lithium batteries that we have here, and with the lithium batteries we had in our other RV, if the temperature goes down into the 30s and 40s, lithium doesn't do very well. So you have to find ways to insulate the batteries by putting something around them, or possibly they have these things called battery heaters where you can put underneath them. That would help keep them warm enough to optimize. And then there's also the opposite of that. You can get them too hot. So in this RV with so many batteries and everything that we have back here, there is a mini split system that's tucked up underneath, and I can check a lot of the stuff from the control board over here, and then use the remote control, which I can't reach, use the remote control to turn on the mini split system to heat and cool the underbelly. Now, with the AquaHot system, AquaHots are, I mean, you're not going to find them in a lot of like the smaller travel trailers, but as you get up into the Class A's, or maybe you might find it in your bigger toy haulers, they're great for running hot water. I would just say that I think you're just better off staying with the old propane and electrical water heater. Personally, just now after having this for a few weeks, I don't see it as a huge upgrade component. But if you do upgrade, they have an option where you can do heat converters. And what we've done is in each one of our bays, there is a heat converter that we can actually heat the underbelly using the AquaHot system itself as a heating unit, and then it would actually track that heat. So if we're in colder climates, everything can stay at a consistent temperature underneath in the underbelly. So that is an option. I don't think that's an option for everyone, but it really just depends on what you're wanting to do as you're boondocking. All right, on to something that is a bit controversial, and that is internet. Yeah, lithium batteries is easy to talk about. Water usage and how you're doing it's easy to talk about. Controversy, yeah, that would be internet. So let's go jump and talk about that. Are you still cooking?
Or eating.
Or eating? Okay, I'm still talking to them about, now I'm on to internet. Oh. Sheila, we will do a rig tour when we're completely finished, moved in. So giving you a heads up. But we're going to talk about internet right at the moment. And then I got a couple other things I want to share with them.
Oh yeah, okay. And I'll share some of my favorites. I got a couple of favorites.
Yeah, favorites, okay. You know, since we're sitting here, why don't you share with them that? Because that, I just finished talking. I talked about water consumption, and you wanted something in here. Share with them.
For 3 years, I coveted Kelly from Sweet Travels. I coveted her dishwasher.
Yeah.
Finally was able to get one. So I
Fun
didn't
fact.
know
Yep.
that it would use less water than actually hand washing in the sink when we were dry camping. And it only used, how many gallons did you say it used?
1.9 on a speed cycle, 2.4 gallons on a regular cycle.
Oh, so we're talking we use almost 2 gallons of water. 1.9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot. So I do enjoy being able to have a dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now, wait.
Wait.
So, if you're boondocking, what we did in our Grand Design Momentum was that we would get the collapsible containers that would sit in the sink, and then we would actually wash and then we would rinse, and then we would take that water, and our tanks were separated. So we would take that water and dump them into the rear black tank that we had in the 395.
Yeah, because we didn't use that as often. So
Yeah, so those collapsible type washing containers in the sink were great for boondocking to extend your stays as you're trying not to fill up your gray tank. So that was a tip that we found out that worked really well for us.
Yeah. It's all about learning. And, you know, I give you a hard time. I was giving you crap out there about they're going to go hang out with you. But what you've done is you've educated yourself. You've figured it out.
Yeah.
We just learn as we go.
And we still don't have it all figured out.
Oh, we never will. But you've done a great job just kind of figuring out things. And
Yeah, do you like that cutting board? That was her idea. When we do our walkthrough video, we'll get to showcase all the little secret things that Sheila's done in here.
I guess what I was trying to tell them is if you can figure it out and educate yourself about how to do it, then don't be worried about it. Just figure it out, because if Todd can do it.
Oh, I appreciate that, dear. That's called a smackulant. Smacklament.
I do. I love you. But we figured it out. Like, we didn't know.
No, we did.
But you just go and try and you figure it out.
And the goal here is to showcase that we want you to be able to boondock and figure stuff out so you can come to one of our events and we can hang out and do things.
Absolutely.
But there's some cool things that hopefully you'll learn from this that you can maybe think about upgrading in your RV as you travel. Next, let's go into the internet, which we don't have all this figured out, but we're closer.
Well, we're right here, so as soon as you tell them about the internet, I'll tell them about my favorite thing.
Okay.
Because we're right here in the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going right over here. So right here, all right, let's talk about internet, because as you can see, we have a lot going on. As of now, we are using Starlink. Now, we decided, because of this, you see everyone in the different campgrounds and stuff using Starlink, and they're putting up their poles and doing all that. We elected to go with the Starlink that sits flush on top, so I don't have to monkey with it. So it's permanently mounted up on top. Now, the bad part is it's $250 a month, but it's 50 gigs of like fast internet, and then the rest of it's kind of like, I would say moderated a little bit. Speeds have varied. It's great if we have open skies, but the problem is we're going to the East Coast. We've learned that there's lots of trees, so we're anticipating that not working very well. And the good thing about Starlink is it can be turned on and off with your cell phone. Here's the other thing. So then for 3 years, we've used, now they were our RV on the go basically, but now they are been with Techno RV. They have different plans. You can get your PepWave router. Techno RVs, this runs 2 different cards. You can do AT&T, you could do Sprint, you could do, I think right now they're doing T-Mobile and Verizon. So it can switch back and forth. So that's a great use of being able to, because that's how we uploaded all of our videos. Price on that's going to be around that $130 to $150 range, depending on what you choose. And then what you see up here is something called High Boost. Now, High Boost just sent us the newest High Boost, which is kind of cool. And what this does is that this is an external antenna that goes out, and then it extends the range of your current cell phone. And you'll find these like when you go out west, like western Kansas, or if you're in like Wyoming or whatever, and you see the antennas with the black thing and it's wobbling back and forth in the wind. That would be a signal booster, which works great in the capacity of using your cell phone. And if we needed to, we could actually use that to turn on our hotspots, things like that. So High Boost, what they did was they just sent us the High Boost 3 and for truckers. And we're looking forward to putting this in. So we wanted to make sure we had all of our internet bases covered so that when we travel, and depending on the locations, depends on how we can have communication, because with this allows us to run all of the different things, not just editing video and stuff. It allows us to talk to the kids. It allows us to do conference calls. It allows us to watch TV because we use YouTube TV. and that way we can stay plugged in at home back in Kansas City to be current and relevant with the things happening around where the kids are, so we feel still plugged into that community as we travel.
Also lets us to connect with our community, because we do online groups through SwitchPod, so we have a community where we do a lot of rooms, like live stream rooms, so that's been...
So if you come to one of our events, after that event, we actually have these things called SwitchPods on Monday nights, and you could come to that, so it allows us to do our Zoom communications and things like that with you guys being part of the crew. Kind of cool. Now, Sheila is going to... I gotta change the battery. Sheila is going to share one of her favorite things in this kitchen, and I'm going to share with you one of the things that we didn't see coming that is now a hindrance that we don't think that you should maybe do the upgrade with. All right, Sheila's almost done doing our lunch, so we can go on our adventures for your next video down the road. So you should like, comment, and subscribe, because apparently it has to do with gators, airboats, and whatever else might come our way. Who knows? All right, Sheila.
What?
Share with them. You said that you had one of your your favorite things.
Okay, well, I don't know what you've talked about outside while I was making lunch, but I have 2 things that are my favorite.
Okay.
All right. One of them is the fact that I've been inside. Everything's running. There's 2 air conditioners on. I was able to brew tea, and it's just those batteries is a game changer. Like we have air conditioning. We didn't have air conditioning that would run in our last setup.
I know. I shared with them some
Did
different
you?
components regarding how on their RVs they could do that, but
Yeah, we're out in the middle of nowhere with air conditioning.
yeah, boondocking.
It's fantastic.
It is.
But probably one of my other favorite things is the ability to just go to the fridge and get clean, filtered water, and it's even alkaline.
I told them and shared with them that
You
too.
did?
Yes.
Those are 2 of my favorite things. The air conditioner's on, and I got clean, fresh water.
Okay, I got a confession to make.
Oh, no.
It's not alkaline. I never put that filter on. I figured before I put the filter on, I ought to use the filter they sent me. That way you get the most use.
So all this time
you're not been drinking alcohol. You will, though. I have the filter. I just have not. It's almost back reminiscent to the beginning when. But I know I've led you astray, and you've been thinking you've been drinking alkaline water, but it's okay.
Well, now it's going to even taste even better. Are you going to put that filter on now?
When this one's used up, I will. Yeah. We brewed tea.
Why do I have to
I love a
wait?
good tea. Okay, now can I share with them? I'm going to share with them one of the upgrades that is affecting us immensely, and that would be our blackwater tank. Because we didn't know. If you're going to upgrade your toilet,
Oh.
we
Womp womp.
upgraded our toilets to macerating toilets, which if you don't know, the water goes in, grinds everything up, makes it a slurry, and goes into your tank. Makes it easier because you don't have to use a lot of different stuff. The problem comes into play, Sheila. What's the problem?
I don't. Oh, it uses more water. I do know. I know the answer. It does. It uses more water.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it needs to, make it more
Slurry.
slurry, but it does use a lot more water.
Macerator toilets are used a lot in the boating industry, and then they came out with them and to use them now into RVs. And Steve is getting ready to leave, and he's going to Alaska, and Steve actually has a macerating toilet on the back in the toy hauler part because he's taking his sons, and then on the front he has his regular RV toilet. The problem comes into play for him. 3 boys, even if they go in to just pee in the toilet, you're almost using a gallon of water. Whereas you're in a regular toilet, RV toilet, you just push on the pedal and use a lot less water. So it's almost a 4 to 5 times water usage. So even though we had a 50-gallon tank on our Grand Design Momentum, we could go 10 days on the black tank with a good treatment, like we've been using liquefied, and it took care of that. And we could go that long. Now we're having an issue where we're using way more water, we don't feel like that's probably the best upgrade to do unless you're going, not as a boondocking option.
Right. If it weren't boondock, if you're not a huge boondocker, then it's great.
Yes.
I do.
It is a great upgrade. But if you're boondocking, no, don't. I would say no, don't do it. You're going to...
Depends on how long you want to be boondocking.
Yeah, if it's 3 days, no big deal. But if
I
you're...
think we're going to make it 7.
Yeah, but if you're going to be a tent, some people go 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking that is not going to be an option for you.
Well, but how convenient is it going to be now? I mean, worst case scenario for us is you can help offload some water onto the truck and then take the truck in.
Or you'll have to, if you're doing this option, you may have to use one of the toters and take the toter to go do a dump. Just letting you know, if you're thinking about that for an upgrade, I've never seen a video on it. When we talked about macerating toilets, we researched it. I researched it a little bit. I was like, oh, it should be fine. We increased our capacity to 65 gallons versus 50. Yeah, that's not the case.
Yeah, the extra capacity is taken up by the extra water.
Mm-hmm. With all that being said, we've now shared...
We're going to end this on poop?
No.
Oh.
We're ending it by you making us lunch so we can go on our adventure.
Yes, we're
But
going to go find some gators.
I've been able to share with them all of the ups and downs of the different aspects of the upgrades and boondocking. Hopefully this has been some sort of a help for you.
I'm sure it is.
And Sheila is loading the dishwasher, so that's a fun thing. That could be a great upgrade for somebody if you have room in your RV.
Yeah, and the fact that it uses less
drawer,
water.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
So, like, comment, subscribe on this video. We are off on some adventures. We're getting back into the rhythm of living in this new RV, and we can't wait for our first huddle event that's coming up. If you're interested in huddles and our crew campouts, you can go to our website, GoSwitchItUp.com, and we just launched the app, Sheila. That's what I wanted to end on, is the app.
Much better than poop.
Yeah, I gotta put you down because you're so heavy. You need to lose.
That's not very nice. Call them heavy.
So the app, Sheila.
Yes.
Share with them what the app is that we just launched and why we're so excited about it.
There are so many features that it's already very rich in features, but there are so many things coming additional down the pipeline. But on our app, you'll be able to get the latest video. You'll be able to stay up with what events are coming. Crew campouts, all of those things. There's a map where you can find, the goal of the map was to, if you can find crew near you, people are using it, and we're getting pictures of people connecting and meeting up for lunch or going out for coffee or just having somebody over for a potluck. Love that. There's also our brands, our discounts are on there.
The app is our way to get off of YouTube quite as much, honestly, and be able to build community. And it's not just about Sheila and Todd, it's about you and making new relationships and going camping with the people around you or the new friends that you make at events or wherever you meet. The communication aspect to see where people are, the crew campouts that are launched. That's going to be a central hub.
There's a lot of things, though, that we were hoping that will be coming, even more fun adventures for you all to be able to connect.
We can't share those yet.
Not yet. But even just the value of the discounts that are on the brands page, you know, that's just a huge benefit because our sponsors are saying, hey, we want to support the crew and help them get out because we're partnered with like-minded people that want you to get out, go explore, go create memories, and that's what it's all about.
It is. It really is. So I hope you got some knowledge from this so that you can come to one of our events, maybe boondock to wherever we are for camping and be prepared. So we'll put links down in the bottom in the description, and hopefully you got some value today and we got to share a little bit behind the scenes of things that are working and things that are not working as well as we thought.
It's still a learning curve, but now we're going to go on an adventure and find some gators.
Hopefully. I want to still try to find an anaconda, like a big one. I want a big one. I want a big anaconda. I want to jump off the boat.
I don't want to be
grab
with you when
I
you
know.
find that.
But we're going to give it our best shot today.
Oh, no.
So we're going to say we are leaving you with this little tidbit.
What's the tidbit? Download the app?
Yeah. Apple, Google Play Store.
Why don't you put the links in the bottom for them?
I could probably do that. But other than that,
I think we're out. It's time to go. It's time to
it's
go.
time to go.